Now coming to the wall strip conditions which we usually apply, that is no slip condition and free slip condition. This no slip condition is when we consider the friction forces between the object as well as the flow around it. So we tell that the velocity at the wall is zero and slowly it starts to develop in the form of a shear. So we tell it to be a no slip condition. But when we consider a free slip condition, we do not consider any flow stagnation point on the body and we have a clean and smoother flow on the object. Then coming to the transient and steady state simulation, water flowing out of the beaker is equal to the water flowing in the beaker from the tap. So in that case, the water inside the beaker. Now beaker is the control volume domain where the parameters are not changing. So in that case, it is called to be a steady state simulation. But if the discharge rate is greater from the beaker, then the water level starts decreasing in the beaker. So like for example, for 1 second, if the water level has decreased by 10 centimeters, in another second it has decreased by another 10 centimeters, then it is called to be a transient simulation because we are trying to visualize based on the time how the parameters are varying. In this visualization technique, we are able to see it's a very easy tool to understand how the parameters have been developed in the flow. It's very easy to use. As we can see over here, along with the mesh, we are able to see the streamlines as well as we are able to see the pressure contour on the surface. Now, the another greatest advantage in this software is that if you have any heat source enabled in your CFD simulation project, that time you need to determine that how the heat or the temperature is being transferred from one location to another. For example, I have a 2D, assume a 2D bar rod. At one end, if the temperature is 100, another end it is kept as room temperature. In how much time the heat is going to reach the other end so that it reaches a steady or the equilibrium state. So in that case, if that is an example of heat being transferred from one position to another. Same way, if you go for a bigger level problems like this projector in the screen, there is a chip, and from that chip, what is the amount of heat being transferred if any other component is there, or what is the amount of temperature it has attained that particular component either in steady state or transient state can be determined easily without doing any calculation by in few clicks, where it shows the path like how it has been raised, what are the different components have received the heat, which are the different components which are heat sources. All these details can be produced and it can be printed in a form of report. Then understanding different turbulence models. Now we have RANS method, LES method, and DNS method in this particular software. Where RANS method is called as Reynolds average Navier-Stokes equation, which is called as full modeling, where you are discretizing everything and you're averaging it. You're not keeping anything in the form of eddies or turbulence. Now, large eddy simulations means you are keeping some vortices, but you're not averaging out. You're trying to visualize how this vortices changes over time. So we define few particular parameters for that particular number of cells. Below that, the value has to be average, and above that, it has to be a large eddy simulation, which is usually time consuming. But when we go to DNS method, it is direct numerical simulation where we do not capture or where we do not average out the parameters. This is on DNS method is only used when we are going to any kind of research work or anything. But if we are in any industry purpose or any project, we usually have some deadlines where we either opt for RANS method or LES method depending on the importance of the project as well as the parameter which we are planning to determine. So this is a computational strategy. First, we need to understand why are we modeling the flow, how the flow is being resolved, and what would be the computational cost. If you are going for the RANS simulation, we are completely modeling the physics. We are determining it a form of average simulation. Then the computational cost is less. As we move higher in the table, we see that DNS method, we are not resolving the physics, but we are keeping physics to be natural, but the computational cost also increases. Cost in the terms, the time involved, the resources involved, and the data which is generated is also large when compared to the RANS simulation. So we need to understand the importance of which strategy we are going to use to do a particular simulation. Now, there are different RANS equations which I think everybody have gone through in their courses. If not, then engineering courses. These are the common things which we are usually learn. So RANS method is something like one equation model, two equation model. In one equation model, Spalatermerus is very common and very famous equation. Then going further, we understand the K epsilon model, SST-K omega model, which are very advanced and very useful in solving the complex problems. In hybrid, we have discrete eddy simulation method and very large eddy simulation method. As we go further, there are few Gale methods and other methods are also developed nowadays, which have been incubated in this software. So each equation have their own advantages when compared to another. These are the different LES method where Whale method is being used. Coherent structures method is also used. So it's easy to understand by going through the theory and understanding which model or which equation is applicable for your own particular problem. Now the question is, why do we need to model the physics? So the answer is something like this. The turbulence is a whole set of many eddies and vortices, which is right. It is almost impossible to directly simulate turbulent flow. That is also true using the computation, because the memory and the computation time is very high, which is not required for a small problem. Yet in most engineering application, what we need to obtain is not the microscopic structure of eddies, but the influence of turbulence on the mean velocity distribution. This means that we do not want to simulate the eddies. We want to determine, due to a particular flow, what is the effect happening on the structure. This is just, it only looks good for visualization, or we are going for any research particular thing, we can create those things. But the effect generated by the eddies and the effect which we determine from the RANS method is going to be the same. So we need to understand when eddies are required and when RANS method has to be used. So in industry, usually RANS method is very famous and popular because of its time in terms of memory. So coming to the software Cradle, it is a Japanese code. It was established in 1984. It has a headquarters in Osaka. Then it was acquired by MSC Software in 2016. Now MSC is headquartered in US, California. It is a leaders in terms of structural code which they developed for NASA. The very famous is MSC, Nastran, and Patran, which I think majority of us know, that NASA used their codes and later it started as a company as MSC Corporation as a commercial software. Now Cradle has these in Cradle Suite. These are the things which is available. SC Flow, which is a polyhedral mesh, then SC Tetra, tetrahedral mesh, and SC Stream, which is for structured mesh. Heat designer modules are used for electronic based. If you're completely into electronics or you want to understand like how the heat sinks is going to dissipate my heat, it's on a component level. Pickles is nothing but a PCB board simulation software where you have some chips and it's in a PCB format. You can input the Gerber data, the CAD geometry, and you can determine how your current is going to pass and where the temperature in the PCB is going to be higher. SC post is common for all the things where you can do a post processing part where you can create beautiful post process video, which I'll be going to show it in the few upcoming slides. Now coming to the software capability, moving object, 6 degrees of freedom, multi-block method. Now this multi-block method is very simple when compared to other software, because based on my industrial experience, I found that multi-block method in other software usually takes a large amount of time, but here it's very simple. We create it in only 5 minutes, where you for very complex problem also we are able to do it in 5 minutes. So multi-block method is very efficient in this particular software. It also has addition of discrete element method, radiation, solar radiation. Now, advantage of the solar radiation is it has the inbuilt library where the handbook data has been given, Astra handbook, which is very famous for solar radiation. It gives you the geographical location as well as many other parameters, the time, the sun, distance, everything can be input, and you can find out how the radiation is going to affect a particular component. For example, if you are analyzing anything related to solar cells, you can do a simulation by defining all these parameters, and you can get accurate results in this particular software. Humidity, dew condensation mapping is a technique where you do a simulation on a larger scale, but if you want to do any parameter change for a particular object, you can map the data. The data which is done in the experiment can be used for the experiment to as the initial data, and you can continue the simulation. Where this type of mapping techniques are important because you save a large amount of time in terms of calculation as well as memory. So it has free surface simulation, solidification, particle tracking. Mesh adaptation technique is a technique where it automatically understands based on the importance of the parameter. For example, if you see in this mesh adaptation particular image, as the flow develops, the velocity, the red contour maps are becoming more higher and higher. So the mesh has to be refined in those particular regions of importance. So the mesh automatically gets resolved. It splits up into a particular format which we define in the software, so that the clarity, we get a proper clarity of how the flow is actually happening in this particular region. So if you compare the up and the below in the particular pipe, we are able to figure out the difference between the velocity magnitudes over there. So it's very important to understand how the parameters are changing. Now coming to this overset mesh, cavitation, LES, and thermoregulation model. This software has the first thermoregulation model, which is published by them. They have a patent for this, where a human is, for example, a human is standing in a room and he has a AC operating. He has worn a coat, he has a jacket, he has a hand wristwatch. So based on that, how the temperature of the body is changing with respect to a particular AC. If he is wearing a coat of XYZ thickness, and if the thickness is varied, then how the temperature of his body is going to change. Those type of parameters can also be visualized in this thermoregulation model. Now coming to overset mesh, it is nothing but an automatic type of mesh where we only drag and drop. We do not have to do any type of coding or UDF method. We usually take the one component below other component, and we just define that this is the rotating medium and this is the rotating part. Here we are not going to deal anything with respect to the Boolean, or we are not going to do any subtraction or addition from the domain. It's the CAD model which you are directly got from any CAD software is utilized over here. We are not going to operate any CAD tools on this. It's a direct simulation. It's very easy to use. Now coming to SC Flow, it's nothing but the thermofluid analysis software. It is unstructured polyhedral mesh. Now how the polyhedral mesh looks like is nothing but a hexagon type honeycomb structure, which is on the right hand side, the representative shape. It is capable of capturing the complex problems like this as shown you, where two gears are merged together, or you have a complex fan model with curves and pitch. So at that time, these elements are very useful in capturing those areas because it has a larger capturing area when compared to other two. Now, the salient features of this software are they have something called as facet editor, which is used for repairing the CAD geometry outside the GUI of the SC Flow, where we set up the boundary conditions and other thing. Elf file viewer is nothing but a viewer where you get all the parameters data, like how the parameter is changing. We need to get some information. So everything is printed in this Elf file. Now, SC file converter is very useful tool where the heat or the pressure data which is developed in the CFD software can directly use for converting into a structural data. For example, pressure is nothing but one type of load which is acting on a structure. So this pressure information can be used as the external load in the structural data in any other project. It is also capable of creating videos where you can also create a beautiful video using this SC converter. And it also has a plugin where optimization can be done using the optimization tool. It requires a separate license for that. That optimization tool is nothing but Optimus. Now heat path viewer is nothing but it determines how the heat is flowing from one component to another, how the heat is dissipated. It shows the complete path. So that is the advantage. Then other things are like SC work sketch is nothing but automating the complete workflow, defining one problem after another, and you are automating it. You are not monitoring. Like if you are keeping some simulation for 10 hours, after that the system will pause. In that time, you use this automation tool. You can keep a club, jot down few problem statements, and you can leave all the simulation at once. So one after the other, it starts solving. Now it also has advantages of smart blades where it is used for modeling the centrifugal and axifugal fan blades or the pumps where you can create the your own fans having a particular pitch and diameter. Everything can be defined in this. Now, Cradle Viewer is very important in visualizing. It's a tool which is, for example, if a customer needs to see how the CFD simulation has come, but he doesn't have the license to open the CFD data. So in that case, CradleViewer is the software which is available for free. A customer has to download. We'll be sending him the CradleViewer file where he can interactively change the position, direction, and look how the flow is happening. Where he will not be given access to change any parameters, but whatever is created by a company is given to him, so the customer can visualize it in a 3D way. This is the video where how the post processing is done in Cradle. These are the streamlines which we are developing and we are changing top to bottom. Now this is on the surface like how the pressure controls have come. Then going further, we are trying to have where we are giving a hollow structure inside to show how the geometry is, and we are giving it as a texture form, how the flow is attaching the surface and moving. So this type of simulation can be visualized. This is the oil pattern. Like if you have a oil painted on a body and if the flow is happening, we get oil patterns. So we can do create a similar post processing on this particular oil pattern body. These are the particles moving from one part to another to show how the wake region is getting affected, how the patterns are formed in the form of particles. If you can observe, there is a particular pattern over there. This was developed by Cradle itself. Now coming to the GUI, this is how a simple GUI looks of this SC flow, where you have a menu bar on the top, you have a toolbar where you can use one mouse, two mouse, and three mouse options are also available. If you're using your keypad mouse, then you can use a one mouse button. If you are having an external USB mouse, you can use a three mouse button. You can also do VB scripting. You can record your scripts and you can also play it for some other problem. You have everything in one particular window. You do not need any plugin or a workbench from one setup. You have to go to any other setup. Everything is defined in this particular window itself. You have something called as navigation window where we'll be defining the material path, the boundary conditions, the mesh parameters will be defined. And in part 3, it will tell us what are the different type of parts available in this particular problem. Like for a centrifugal pump, you have impeller, you have inlet, you have outlet, you have casing, you have those many few particulars data. Those and all are listed in this part 3. In property T, it will talk about the material property. Is it a solid body or it's a liquid medium or it is something like obstacle? The information related to that is given. Then in the message window, it gives us the proper, if like any material is applied, it tells us that the material is applied. It's just giving us the information, whatever we are doing in this particular navigation window. This is the drawing window, which is very bigger, where we can do all the manipulation with respect to the CAD geometry. We can rotate, revolve, we can zoom in, we can visualize everything in this particular drawing window. Now coming to the career opportunities, these are the recent posts or recent posts from the website which I have got. These are the companies where they're asking for CFD engineers from 0 to 5 years of experience. Though they tell experience, if you have this particular knowledge and understanding of how to set up a boundary condition, and if you are capable of demonstrating it to them, this experience matters do not actually matter. So they have given like this. If you come to the simulation tech in the last one, they are telling that is they require CFD engineers who are having 0 to 3 years of experience. But if you have a good experience and good understanding of the tool as well as the theory concepts, it is very easy to get this type of jobs in future. With this, I would like to conclude my session.